Have you been considering the use of a robo-investment platform such as Wealthfront, which was one of the original that came out almost a decade ago? Well, then you're in luck. I'm Wanderer001, and I have been using Wealthfront as my primary investment vehicle for just about 9.5 years now. So I can give you a very good example of what your returns could be like, as well as features and functionality that have been introduced over the past year in 2025. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get into it. To start things off, I will have timestamps in this video allowing you to skip ahead if you wish to see just the returns and not of what Wealthfront has been up to over the past year. With that out of the way, let's get started in sequential order to things that Wealthfront has been up to. First and foremost, automated bond ladders have lowered fees now from 0.25% to 0.15%. And I will say that in my last update video, I undersold the bond ladder as it gave me close to what I was getting in my high yield savings account from Wealthfront, but kind of tied up my money. But what I'll say is when I did my taxes, the bond ladder definitely came out on top. So if you're looking for a safe vehicle now with lowered fees, bond ladder is definitely worth checking out. Next, lower minimum for S&P direct indexing to $5,000 with a management fee of 0.09%. That's great. They're just making it easier for more people to access a lot more of the features that Wealthfront has to offer. After that, they introduced the joint cash account. So this is a cash account that we're currently looking at, but this is my personal cash account. But now if I wanted to, I could have a joint account with my wife. Next, and one that I'm not 100% on board with, just me personally, but I can see why they're doing it. And that is introduction of securities lending. What this will allow you to do is pretty much lend out your securities. And it's really automated. Wealthfront handles everything. You just have to agree to it. Thankfully, I appreciate the fact that they did not make this an on by default. You have to opt into this. And what it will do is if any of your securities is a participant in the lending program, your shares are lent in exchange for income. You still maintain ownership of the shares, but you do kind of get a commission and a interest rate for those lended shares that are outperforming, doing what they need to do. I'll have a little link to the write-up of what this is about if you are interested. After that, we have individual cash account has had their routing numbers changed. This is one of the bigger ones. If you actually utilize Wealthfront's cash accounts for direct deposit, things of that nature, they've changed from Green Dot and now they use UMB Bank. So if you had any accounts set up, you did have to update all of that. Not terrible, but just something to show the growth and change that Wealthfront has been going through. The high yield savings account referral bonus has temporarily been increased from 0.50% to 0.75%. There is no cutoff on this yet, and I'll explain to you how you can get this increased bonus so that you can get the 4.5% that I have instead of the current 3.3 as of filming. Next, we move on to NASDAQ 100 direct indexing. So 5,000 minimum to get in, and a management fee of 0.12%. Next, they changed out some of their secondary ETF options. What that boils down to is if you happen to have a tax loss harvest event, the secondary ETF might be different than what you started off with if you were original to Wealthfront. Next, and one of the things that I actually found great, and it was about time that Wealthfront started doing this, was dividend sweeping. Now you have the option to either just as it was, reinvest the dividends into your assets, or you can now sweep it to your cash account. So you can either reinvest or generate money for yourself that just hangs out in your cash account. With this update, Wealthfront also started fractional share investing, which to me, this is going to be a game changer because there are not a lot of institutions that do fractional share investing, but this also means that more of your money will be put to work, and I've already started to see the benefits of this. After that, the next big change for Wealthfront, and one of the ones that I'm waiting to see what happens over the next year, and that is Wealthfront had their IPO. So Wealthfront is now a publicly traded company. They are no longer just a private company. So that's when you can start to see things change, because once you have a board of managers and investors that want to take profits and see profits, that can change the culture of a company. So I am interested to see what will happen this year now that they've IPO'd. However, I will say the last quick hit for the updates is that the APY for the high yield savings account did actually get a itty bitty boost, even though right before filming this, the Fed decided to keep interest rates as they were. Wealthfront decided that, hey, the rate that we get is still high enough behind the scenes that we will increase the APY for the high yield savings accounts, even though the Fed's rate did not change, which honestly, I was very appreciative of. Let's move on to the returns that I've gotten. Coming in, this is my Roth IRA. Yes, I still have my Roth IRA at Wealthfront. I know I've talked about it in the last two videos that I've had to do backdoor Roths in order to get money into here. So I'm not dollar cost averaging into this account, but I figure at this point, the 10-year anniversary would be a great place to stop and show you all of that. But up here at the top, we can see overall returns of the lifetime of this account, which is almost 10 years at this point, is 159.25%. If we come in here, we could see our time weighted, and they changed this up a little bit. So if you want to see extra, you got to hit this little drop down. But if we go with our money weighted return, the last time I did this video, it was 92.61%. Here you could see as of filming, it is 157.62, and annualized, it's 9.86%. So that is going up. And then here we can actually see total gains and losses. So I have plus $35,000 in this account. If I hit my breakdown, it shows you my net deposit, the market change, meaning this is the appreciation of the assets that I have in here, and then dividends received for this account. And then here, advisory fee. And now I'm still operating on free advisory fee for this account, and I'll tell you how you can as well later. Now, the Roth IRA is sitting at a risk score of 6.5%. However, I have made, again, some minor tweaks to what's going on in the account itself. If I come down here, I did change out my real estate holdings. I put that to 7%. Emerging markets, I changed that to now it's at 18%. Or in developed stock is now sitting at 20%. And the dividend stocks I put at 16%. So it's 6.5 with me kind of leaning a little more aggressively. One other thing that Wealthfront has introduced is for their Roth IRA, if I select to edit this portfolio, come to Classic, they have changed their basic structure of assets that they use. So if I drop this down to what I currently have, you'll notice US stocks, corporate bonds, real estate, foreign developed, tips, and emerging market. There are some things that are missing from here that I have from their original layout from over a decade ago. Is it better or worse? I'm not entirely sure. I've never changed mine over. The results I'm telling you are based on my current layout as well as investment spread. With the Roth out of the way, let's move on to my individual investment account. Here we could see our total. Right now we're looking at it is up 132.08%. Tax loss harvest over the lifetime of this of 2,802, which is really good. That's why I love Wealthfront. If we come in here, we're going to check our returns. Our money weighted return from the last time I did this was 89.45. You can see right now we're sitting at 162.39 with an annualized of 10%. If we look at our time weighted, it was 89.45, just like down here was, but this one is at 132.08 with annualized of 9.3%. And then just like we had before, here is our full gains and losses. Net deposit of 24,700, market change of 13, dividends of 13,438 with an ending balance right here. So right now I have been going up in the green, even though right when I'm filming this, the Friday before I started this, there was a vast market sell-off. So Wealthfront is still doing pretty good. If I come in here, see there's a little dip right there. But overall, and that's what you should be investing for, is the long haul, I'm doing pretty good. This one is sitting at, I want to say 7.5%. I will asterisk in if I made an error on that. If we come down, one of the other benefits once you get to a certain point with your individual investment accounts is a line of credit against the account. So here you can see my total line of credit available to borrow and then the interest rate. Again, this is going to change all depending on how much money you have in your account. And speaking of that, I can show you the difference in the joint account that I set up with my wife last year, which this one is getting dollar cost averaged into about twice a month. My original investment account is only getting maybe once every month, once every other month. But here we go. If I come up here, you can see almost $250 in tax loss harvesting. Coming up, we're going to show you the returns compared to last year. Money weighted return last year was negative 8.08. This year we're up 38.92 with a annualized return of 19.58. Time weighted last year was negative 8.85. And this year we're looking at 32.7 with 16.65%. Now, that's because this one has definitely gone through more volatility while investing. So the dollar cost averaging while the market has been going haywire has helped this account quite a bit. So you can see net deposits of 11,000, market change of 2,000 with dividends received of 315, which gives us our current state. And then here you could see everything kind of bouncing around. If we go to 2025, you could see there's actually like negative dip there and it's stair climbing, but it's not as smooth as you might think. And then if we come down here, notice this account does not have enough in it to do borrowing against the account. So there you saw examples of returns of a longtime user of Wealthfront, as well as all the changes and new things that Wealthfront has been doing over the course of the last year. If you're interested in to see just how much Wealthfront has changed over the almost 10 years that I've been using it, I'll have a link to a playlist up in the corner there that you can go and check out what the early days of Wealthfront looked like. As I mentioned before, if you're interested in getting $5,000 of investments managed fee-free, I'll have a link in the description area below that you can use to get your own $5,000 managed fee-free. And then once you join, you get your own link. Now, I will say that link for me is going to be for my sister-in-law, who I am helping to start on her own investing adventures. So help me help her help you out with investing with Wealthfront. If you're not interested in $5,000 of investments managed fee-free, I will have a second link, which will allow you to get 0.05% extra on a high yield savings account for 3 months. The beauty of that is, again, if you join Wealthfront, you get your own link, and that 5% you can keep stacking how long it stays on your account if you get more people to use your affiliate link. But that has been my almost 10 years of investing with Wealthfront as my primary investment vehicle. And I am not a financial YouTube channel, so I'm just a lay user. And let me tell you, it has made things so much easier for me. I really wish that there were things like this when I started early on, because there's a lot of things that I would have done differently and probably would have been in a slightly better place than I am right now. With that being said, if you appreciate the time and effort that goes into making comprehensive videos like this, make sure to hit that like button to help other people find the video as well. If you like what I'm doing here and want to be notified of my next review, hit that subscribe button. Still not sure if Wealthfront is right for you? I have actually done a few other financial product reviews, which you'll see on screen now to help you make a more informed decision for yourself.